What if I told you right now that you can lose today? You can fail today. You can make a mistake today. You can have a setback today, but still win your life. Still win the week, still win the month, still win the year. Even if you fail today. Even if you lose today. Because one bad game, one bad day, one bad mistake, one failure, one setback, they don't define everything. They don't define the whole story. They don't define the whole series. They don't define your whole life. So why do you spend your life acting like one setback means it's over? Why do you spend your life acting like one failure means your life is just over? Why do you think that one failure means you got to give up or one failure means you got to quit? It doesn't. Because you can still win in the end. I know if you're a basketball fan out here, man, the playoffs just started. And that's where this idea came from. We've seen the greatest of all time do it. LeBron James was down 3-1 in the finals, in the biggest stage. 3-1. He lost 3 games and still came back and won. So when we look at this in a sports perspective, we see teams lose games. We see teams make mistakes. We see teams fail. We see the greatest players of all time have bad nights. Have terrible nights. Not even have 10 points. But the goal is to win the series. You don't got to win every game. Sometimes you're going to lose. Sometimes you're going to fail. But you got to win the series, though. That's why it's 7 games. It's not just 1. It's not just 2. It's not 5. It's 7. You have 7 opportunities to win the series, to move on, to win the championship, to get a ring. So in life, when we look at it in a life perspective, why do people quit after one failure? Why do people quit after they have a bad day? Why do you overreact after you have one bad moment? Like, just because you're failing right now, or you might have made a mistake, or you might not know where to go, doesn't mean you're behind. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean you can't make it, because you're not losing your life. You're still being woken up every morning. You're still blessed with opportunities. You're still blessed to breathe. You're still blessed to be here. So you're not losing life. You just lost 1 game, and that's fine. Because that's part of the process. That's part of the journey. That's part of becoming this better version of you. That's part of chasing goals. That's just part of life. You're going to lose. You're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have some setbacks here and there. You're not going to be perfect all the time. But that's why we have the opportunity to get back up and keep going. Get back up and keep moving. Keep back up and keep pushing forward. Because one bad day does not define you. If you missed a workout, if you made a bad decision, if you might have failed a little bit, you might experience some rejection. Today at work might not have been a good day. But a bad day doesn't mean you got a bad life. It doesn't mean your week got to be bad. You're still blessed, bro. You're still here. You still have an opportunity to get better. You still have an opportunity to succeed. You think when LeBron James was down 3-1, he thought it was over? You thought he didn't have a chance? No, because he knew he had 3 more opportunities to make the job happen, to get the job done. So he went down, he stayed down, he put his head down, and he went to work. He could have gave up when he was down 3-1. He could have just threw in the towel and said, no, y'all got it. But that's not what it's about, bro. It's about getting back up when you get knocked down. It's about not overreacting to the setbacks, not overreacting to the failures. Just because you made one mistake or you might have lost one time doesn't mean you always lose. It doesn't mean you always mess up. Just because you lose one time doesn't mean you're not good enough. It was just one time. It was one mistake, one failure, one loss. You're making one mistake, you're making one failure feel like it's the whole life. You're making losing one game feel like you just lost the whole season when that's not the reality. You got 365 days, bro. I promise you one day ain't gonna change the trajectory of your year. It's not, unless you let it. Unless you just stay on the ground when you get knocked down. Unless you quit after you fail a little bit, or you experience some setbacks. You experience some discomfort. If you quit, then yeah, maybe it might mess your whole year up. But we're not quitting over here, bro. We getting back up every single day. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep moving. We're going to adjust. Because champions and successful people adjust. They don't quit. Like I said, LeBron could have quit when he was down 3-1, bro. He could have gave up. So we think about it in a sports way. Teams will study where they went wrong at. They change the game plan. They adjust. They do things differently. They adjust the strategy. In that next game, they come back stronger. So when we look at it in life, when you mess up a little bit, when you fail, when things might not be going your way, you have an opportunity to learn. Because if you've been here for a long time, you know how I feel about failure. I view failure as a learning opportunity. An opportunity to grow, an opportunity to adjust, an opportunity to adapt. It's not just failure. Because the only way you can truly fail in life is by quitting. It's by giving up. So when you make a mistake here and there, you might get knocked down. You can try again. You can change how you go about it. You can learn from it. Like the successful people that we look up to, this version of ourselves that we want to become, they don't avoid the losses. They don't avoid the failure. They don't avoid the mistakes. They respond to them the right way. They react to them the right way. Because it's not about just the failure. It's about what you do after that. How do you respond when you get knocked down? How do you respond when you lose? How do you respond when things might not be going your way at the moment? That's what makes you a winner. That's what makes you successful. And you got to be consistent with it all the time, because consistency is what wins at life. Consistency is what's going to win you the series, if we're talking about it in a sports way. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be good all the time. You don't need to be great all the time, because the people we look up to, they're not great all the time. LeBron James ain't great all the time. Steph Curry ain't great all the time. Michael Jordan wasn't great all the time. They had bad days. They failed a little bit. They made some mistakes. Kobe Bryant wasn't good all the time, but they were all in the gym consistently working. They kept showing up even when they weren't the best. They keep showing up even when they weren't perfect. They kept stacking good days, and you see that in the end. When they do get down in the playoffs and they come back and they win, because they're being consistent. They're consistently showing up. They're not giving up. They're staying disciplined. Probably one of the most disciplined people on earth is Kobe Bryant. Ever. You think he was perfect all the time? No. But he kept being consistent. He kept showing up. Like, you don't win by being perfect, because perfect is not real. You can't be perfect. There's only one person who was perfect, and his name was Jesus. One person. So you don't win by being perfect. You win by staying consistent. You win by staying in the game, staying locked in, even when it's hard to. Even when you might not be at your best, you got to be consistent, bro. Even when you might not see the progress, you might not see the growth, you got to stay consistent. Because I ask this question to myself every day. I ask it all the time. Can you stay consistent long enough to win? And if you can, then you're heading in the right direction, bro. Because at the end of the day, you are still in control of the outcome. Even after a loss, even after you fail a little bit, even after a mistake, like, life is not over. The series isn't over. Your book is not over. That might have been a page in the book, but the whole book ain't over yet. It's not done. We haven't reached that last page. Like, the opportunity is still there. It's still up for grabs. You still got a chance to go win the ring. You still got a chance to go win the finals. So the only way you can really lose is when you stop playing. Is when you give up, when you quit. It's the only way you can lose, bro. So keep going. Keep going, even when you lose. Even when you fail, even when you make a mistake, keep going, bro. Because setbacks are part of it. Losses are part of it. Nobody's ever went 82-0. Never. Never happened. Nobody's ever went undefeated, bro. Never. So why do you think you got to be perfect all the time? Like setbacks, they don't cancel out your purpose. They don't cancel out who you were called to be, because if it's meant for you, it will be meant for you. Just made a great video about that yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, y'all go watch it after this. But if it's meant for you, it's meant for you, bro. So keep having the faith, keep trusting, and keep moving forward. Because just because you might have failed, just because you might have mistake, it doesn't mean you're off track. It doesn't mean it's over. It's just part of the journey. It's part of the process. So yeah, you might have lost today. You might have messed up. You might have made a mistake. You might have failed a little bit, and that's fine. That's fine. But your life isn't over, bro. You still got pages to write. You still got a story to tell. You still got goals to reach. You still got things you want to achieve. So get off the bench and get back in the game, bro. Because you can be down 3-1 and you can still win. You can still be the champion. You can still have a ring on your finger. So keep going, bro. But that'll be all for this video, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, go hit that sub button. We're with the 1K subs. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I will see y'all in the next one.